Hello class, first session, new semester starts now. Yeah, your guide to success is Dr. Said, make a wow. With knowledge and passion, we're gonna make a brand new trend. Our amazing journey with Dr. Said will never ever end.
Everybody, let's go! 3, 2, 1,
Dr. Said! Your future is so bright. Dr. Said!
Welcome, everyone, to Deep Learning for Intrusion Detection. I want you to think for a moment about the constant stream of cyber threats facing organizations today. It's a huge problem, and it's where we come in. This module is all about arming you with one of the most powerful modern tools, deep learning, to detect and fight off intruders. Let's dive in. Think of this slide as our flight plan for the lecture. We have 4 main destinations. First, we'll clearly define what machine learning is. Second, we'll discuss the practical importance, the why we should care. Third, we'll explore the common types of ML tasks. And finally, we'll build a strong vocabulary so you can confidently read the articles and hold conversations about ML. This journey is our essential foundation for deep learning. Now that we know our destination, let's start at the very beginning. What is machine learning? This foundation is crucial. Machine learning is the parent concept that leads us to deep learning. Machine learning, or ML, started with a simple but profound definition by Arthur Samuel in 1959. The core idea is simple: giving computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. Instead of giving the computer 1,000 specific rules, you show it 1,000 examples, and it learns the rules itself. Think of teaching a child to recognize a cat. You show them pictures, and they learn the pattern, not a checklist. ML sits right at the intersection of statistics, finding patterns, and computer science, building efficient algorithms to find those patterns. Time for a quick knowledge test. If a computer is programmed with a detailed, explicit set of rules to sort out known spam email keywords, is that machine learning? No. Remember, true ML is about the computer learning the rules from the data, not following pre-written instructions. Let's move on to defining the bigger picture. I like to use the Russian nesting doll analogy here. Artificial intelligence AI is the largest doll, the broadest goal of mimicking human or living entity intelligence and behavior. Machine learning, ML, is the next doll. It's the technique using statistical patterns from data to achieve AI. Deep learning, DL, is the smallest, innermost doll, a specific technique of ML that is inspired by the brain's network of neurons. As the existing note mentions, AI gives the power of a machine to human-like tasks, which means it can do them without getting tired, a huge advantage. This slide reinforces the hierarchy. ML is a subset of AI, and DL is a subset of ML. But let's look at applications. Computer vision, CV, and natural language processing, NLP, are 2 massive fields that rely heavily on ML methods to achieve their objectives. Every time your phone tags a friend in a photo, CV, or a voice assistant understands your question, NLP, you're witnessing ML in action. Let's turn this into a story. The ideas began with statistics in the 1800s. The first attempts at AI and artificial neural networks, ANs, were around 1943. Then came the pivots. The 1980s was AI Winter 1, where expectations cooled and researchers focused on more practical, modern ML. Today, we're in the deep learning boom post-2009, largely enabled by 2 things: massive data and more powerful computers, which allows those complex ANs to finally work. The widespread use of ML is a perfect storm of 3 factors. 1. The explosion of data. We are constantly generating it. 2. Advancements in sensor technology and ubiquitous internet connectivity. We can collect data from everywhere. 3. The rise of deep learning. We have the powerful engine to process it. These factors have taken ML from the lab into the everyday products and systems we use. Let's start the applications with a familiar one: spam filtering. How does your email provider know a message is spam? It's not a person checking. It's an ML model that has learned the patterns of spam, keywords, suspicious links, sender behavior from millions of past examples. Every time a streaming service suggests your next movie or an online store suggests a product, you are interacting with a recommender system. This ML model learns from your past purchases and the behavior of people similar to you to predict what you like next. This is a critical application. Imagine a fraudster using your card. An ML model must instantly analyze the transaction, location, amount, time against your normal spending habits and decide in milliseconds if it's fraudulent. This shows the need for speed and accuracy in ML. It also performs other tasks like mail routing using optical character recognition (OCR). Before we dive deeper into ML types, we need a common language. These next few slides will introduce the fundamental terminology used to describe data in the ML world. The key idea here is that for a computer, everything is a number. Whether it's a measurement, a text document, or a video, it is converted into a numerical representation. We also look at relationships, spatial data, like pixels in an image, and temporal data, like stock prices over time. These relationships define how we treat the data. We broadly classify data into two main types. Structured data is like a neatly organized Excel spreadsheet or database. It has a predefined format with specific fields, making it easy to query. Unstructured data is like a giant pile of documents, images, and videos. It lacks a specific structure. Analyzing this requires the specialized tools of ML and techniques like natural language processing to extract meaning. Let's clarify these terms with examples. Continuous data can take any value within a range, like a person's exact temperature, for example, 47.15 degrees. Categorical data consists of distinct groups, like eye color, blue, brown, green. Discrete data sits in the middle, having countable values, for example, the number of cars on a road, and is sometimes treated as categorical if the possible values are few. Time series data is simply a sequence of data points organized by time. The crucial aspect is the temporal relationship. The value at 3 p.m. is often highly dependent on the value at 2 p.m. Stock prices, weather readings, and network traffic over time are all classic examples. This slide is about synonyms. Let's simplify the input and output. Input, X. The information you feed the model. Use the terms features, predictors, or independent variables. Output, Y. The answer the model is trying to predict or the correct answer. Use the terms targets, labels, or dependent variables. A single complete row of data is an observation or instance. If you're predicting a house price, the square footage is a feature. A price is the target Y, and the full data for one house is an observation. We've learned about the data, the fuel. Now let's talk about the engine, the thing that uses the data to make predictions. What exactly is a model? At its heart, a model is simply an approximation of the relationship between two variables, our input, X, and our output, Y. Think of it as a simplified formula that tries to capture the main trend in the data. Imagine plotting your data points on a graph. The model is the line or curve we draw that best fits through those points. It's the best guess at the general trend, allowing us to predict where a new point will fall. The model's job is to ignore the noise and capture the fundamental underlying truth of the relationship. It's the most concise way to describe the relationship between what you know, X, and what you want to predict, Y. Let's reinforce the core concept. One last time, model equals sign. The learned relationship between X and Y. This relationship is the key to all machine predictions. Building a model is like following a 4-step recipe. Features. The ingredients. What inputs will we use? Algorithm. The recipe, the mathematical framework, like a neural network. Hyperparameters. The oven settings, the external controls you set before training begins. Loss function. The taste test, the metric that measures how bad the model's error is. The goal of the training process is for the model to learn the right internal values that make the loss function, the error, as small as possible. To summarize our model section, the final model is a function of 4 things. The data we feed it, features, the recipe we follow, algorithm, the settings we choose, hyperparameters, and the way we measure success, loss function. Changing any one of these inputs will result in a different, unique model. We've covered the fuel data and the engine model. Now, let's explore the 3 main types of machine learning, which are categorized based on how they learn from the data. The foundational idea of ML is that the machine improves its performance based on past results. The 3 main types, supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning, represent different ways of experiencing and learning from that data. The best way to understand these is through the teacher analogy. Supervised learning has a teacher, the label. The data is labeled with the correct answers. X is an image, Y is cat. The model predicts the target variable. Unsupervised learning has no teacher. The model has to find hidden structure on its own in unlabeled data. For example, grouping customers with similar habits, clustering. Reinforcement learning. Learning by trial and error through interactions with an environment. The model is rewarded for good actions and penalized for bad ones, like training a dog or learning to play a video game. These slides visually contrast the two most common types. The fundamental difference lies in the data. Supervised uses labeled data, you know the right answer, Y. Unsupervised uses unlabeled data, you only have X, and the model must find the structure. The data type determines the task. Supervised is for predicting things. Classification, is it A or B, or regression, what will the price be? Unsupervised is for exploratory tasks. Clustering, find natural groups, or dimensionality reduction, simplify the data.
Stay tuned for the upcoming class, which will feature a comprehensive title with numerous new concepts to be learned. Keep learning, keep growing.